Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're talking about my favorite ingredient, butter. And so I use butter every single day in my kitchen, whether that's baking cookies, spreading it on toast, making a cake. So when you follow my recipes, you know that you can stock your fridge with just one kind of butter because I use salted butter for everything. But since I retired from the bakery industry and sold my bake shop, I've been baking at home a lot more. And I've been buying all kinds of different butters. So then I started wondering, what is actually the best salted butter for baking? So I'm testing 4 top brands and I'm sharing my results with you guys. So of course we're testing Organic Valley salted butter, which I always thought was the GOAT for baking simply because I use it at my bakery and it was kind of just like what I always bought. But recently, Nancy's Organic came out with a salted butter and we're huge fans of their yogurt and their sour cream and their other products. And so of course I had to try their butter and I really do love it. So then I wanted to test out some butters with a little bit higher butter fat. So I'm using Sierra Nevada, which is a local brand here that I absolutely love their cheese. And so I'm testing out their butter. And then I'm also gonna test out the Rumiano brand because that one is pretty much readily available in grocery stores. So I'm testing out some of my tried and true baking recipes with these 4 different butters. Let me share the results with you guys. So I made my favorite vanilla shortbread cookies that I use for my homemade vanilla Oreos. This was a recipe that we made at my bake shop every single day, so I know this is a tried and true recipe. This is a no-chill shortbread cookie. First, we use Organic Valley, which looks good. Second, we have the Nancy's, which looks even better. Third, we have the Sierra Nevada, which looks even better than the Nancy's. And last, we have the Rumiano, which looks the worst, as you can see, as it's spread too much and the edges are somewhat crispy with little holes. This is because of the higher butterfat percentage in this European butter. So as you can see, the Sierra Nevada butter actually bakes these shortbread cookies the best, in my opinion, just from how it looks. And then my second choice would be the Nancy's. And then my third choice would be Organic Valley. And as you can see, the Rumiano had that little bit of spread, so this was the worst. I bet that if we were using a chilled shortbread cookie recipe that the Rumiano would actually be really good because it has a higher butterfat content. So now we're gonna taste them. So this is Organic Valley. It's buttery, it's delicious, it tastes super familiar to me, probably because I've made hundreds of thousands of these with this butter. Now the Nancy's. Oh my God, this one's so much better. The bite of the shortbread, the crunch of it, the texture like crumbled perfectly in my mouth. The OV didn't do as good of a job, so the Nancy's was so much better. The texture of it, it had a really nice crumble and it just kind of like melted in my mouth and I could taste like a little bit more of the butter flavor from that like cultured butter that they're using. Okay, now the Sierra Nevada. This is the one that I thought looked the best just based off of how it looks. And this one is really good, but honestly, I kind of think the Nancy's is my favorite as far as the flavor goes. This one is a little bit more mild. So if you want like a little bit more mild shortbread cookie and not as pronounced a buttery flavor, then the Sierra Nevada is the one I would pick. I think is my second choice. I think the Nancy's is actually my first choice based on the flavor alone. The texture of these two were almost identical. And so then it would go down to flavor. And now we know the Rumiano isn't gonna be best in texture, but let's just taste it for flavor. This one has a really, really good flavor. And I think it's because of the higher butterfat content. And so if this was a chilled recipe, I think this one would definitely be a winner as well. So if you're making a chilled shortbread, you can go a little bit higher with butterfat and you're gonna get a little bit better flavor. So if I was gonna rate these, I would rate Nancy's first and maybe Sierra Nevada, or maybe that's like a tie, but I kind of think Nancy's first, then Sierra Nevada, then probably OV because the texture of this recipe specifically was the best, but I feel like the Rumiano had a better flavor over the OV. So for shortbread cookies, go a little bit higher with the butterfat content for a better flavor. And if you're using even higher butterfat content, then just chill your dough and I bet you're gonna be golden. So tomorrow I'm gonna test chocolate chip cookies. So today I tested classic chocolate chip cookies. And I used my vanilla sea salt chocolate chip cookie recipe because it's one I make all the time, it's tried and true, and it's a no-chill chocolate chip cookie recipe. I wanted to test a no-chill cookie because these cookies are a little bit easier, a little bit faster, and if you chill the butter, it can definitely help with cookie spread, so I wanted to see how all these did without chilling. So first we have the Organic Valley Butter chocolate chip cookie. And this one actually had the least amount of cookie spread, and that makes sense because it has the lowest amount of butter fat. So now I'm gonna taste it. It's delicious. It tastes just like a chocolate chip cookie should. And it's nice and thick, so if you guys like really thick cookies, then use Organic Valley for sure. The butter flavor was a little bit mild. I didn't really get tons of butter flavor. It just tasted like a really good chocolate chip cookie. Palate cleanser. Then we have the Nancy's Butter chocolate chip cookie. So let's try the Nancy's. This one is also delicious, of course. The texture is a little bit different than the Organic Valley though. It's a little bit like softer in general, and it has a lightly crispy edge, which given the same cookie recipe, that's kind of a big difference. And so changing your butter can change how the finished cookies are just a little bit. Palate cleanser. Then we have the Sierra Nevada Butter chocolate chip cookie. So this one, also delicious. I would honestly say that this one and the Nancy's are pretty much identical as far as the texture goes and even the flavor. They're really soft in the middle. They have a slightly crispy edge. They just have like that perfect chocolate chip texture and flavor. And then last we have the Rumiano Butter chocolate chip cookie. Okay, now we'll try the last one, the Rumiano, which is the highest butter fat content. And so I really thought this one was gonna spread a little bit more, and it didn't. So that means the recipe doesn't call for it to be chilled. You can still use a higher butter fat and it's gonna be totally okay. Okay, so this one is actually my favorite of all of them. The higher butter fat content gave this a richer and more just gourmet flavor in general. Plus you get the really soft center and the little crisp on the edge, just like the Nancy's and the Sierra Nevada. Don't you, he's insane. John's really mad that I'm eating cookies in the kitchen without him. He's so mad that I've taken 4 bites of cookie and he hasn't gotten a cookie yet. So all of these butters are delicious for chocolate shit. Come in here. You sit your behind, please. You sit it right there. So all of these butters are delicious for chocolate chip cookies, and they all work for a no-chill chocolate chip cookie. If you guys want a really thick cookie, then I would go with the Organic Valley Butter. But if you want a bakery-style cookie that's really rich and tastes gourmet, then definitely go with the Rumiano. And the Nancy's and the Sierra Nevada, they're both delicious. They're like a good everyday butter. You could use that in any chocolate chip cookie and they would also be delicious. There's really no loser here, guys. Okay, I'm done with this. Do you want to have your cookies now? Yes. Welcome back to the Butter Test Kitchen. Today we're going to be making vanilla cupcakes and vanilla buttercream frosting. So I wanted to make sure that we tested vanilla cake and vanilla frosting. Sometimes you might be making a butter cake, but you may not be using a buttercream frosting. And you may be using a buttercream frosting for something and you may not be using a butter-based cake. You may be using an oil-based cake recipe, or you may be decorating like sugar cookies or brownies. So we're making my simple vanilla cupcake recipe. This was a recipe I made for over a decade at my bakery, so I know it's a tried and true recipe. So as you can see, we have our first cupcakes going in. This one is the Organic Valley, and as you can see, the batter is a little bit runnier versus the Nancy's is a little bit thicker. So as you can see, the Sierra Nevada butter looks a little bit closer to the Nancy's butter as far as the batter goes, while the Rumiano butter looks a little bit more similar to the Organic Valley, even though it has a higher butterfat content. So now we have the baked Organic Valley cupcakes on the left and the Nancy's on the right. As you can see, the little bit higher butterfat content caused these cupcakes to sink just a little bit, where the Organic Valley ones baked up really nice and fluffy. Look at how fluffy the Organic Valley cupcakes are. They're very tall, they also feel very light. They also have a very soft top. Now let's try it. So now here's the Nancy's cupcake. As you can see, it sunk just a little bit in the middle here. So these are a little bit more breaky than the Organic Valley cupcakes, as you can see here. But they're still soft and they're still fluffy. So now we have the Sierra Nevada cupcakes and the Rumiano butter cupcakes. And the Sierra Nevada definitely looks better than Nancy's, and so does the Rumiano. As you can see, the Sierra Nevada sunk a tad, but not as much as the Nancy's. It's still light, fluffy, and a little breaky or more crumbly, similar to the Nancy's. The Rumiano is more similar to the Organic Valley, which is odd because it's the highest butterfat content. But it baked up a little bit better than the Nancy's and the Sierra Nevada, which only have an 82%. The Organic Valley won for the cupcakes hands down. It was definitely the best cake. It had the best texture and it also had the best flavor because it was just simple and comforting. And the Rumiano butter was actually my second choice for the cupcakes. This one baked up a little bit more flavorful cupcake with a little bit more butter flavor. So depending on what you're going for, you can flop between those two. And then the Sierra Nevada was third and the Nancy's was fourth. The Sierra Nevada had a great flavor, but the texture just wasn't my favorite, especially compared to the Organic Valley and the Rumiano. And the Nancy's was just not a favorite at all. We wouldn't choose this one for cupcakes. And then we're also going to be making my vanilla bean buttercream recipe, which is one that I make all the time. I wanted to do a vanilla frosting because I wanted to make sure that the flavor of the frosting didn't overpower the butter. Whereas you may not taste the butter as much in a chocolate frosting or a caramel frosting, you're going to taste it more in a vanilla frosting. So for the frosting though, the Sierra Nevada won hands down for the best overall buttercream flavor. This butter let the vanilla shine through while also giving us like a rich and gourmet buttercream flavor. And then our second choice was the Nancy's because it gave such a great tang to this vanilla buttercream. But if tang is something that you don't want, then I wouldn't choose that butter. And then Organic Valley was third. It's tried and true. You can use it every time and you're gonna have a delicious frosting. And then the Rumiano butter was just not my favorite in frosting. I felt like it felt a little bit too rich and a little bit too heavy for a buttercream frosting, so I wouldn't choose that butter if I'm making frosting. Welcome back to butter testing. Today we're testing pie crust. And now pie crust is made up of mostly butter, so the butter that you choose can really make a big difference. So I made little mini pie crusts with all four of our butters. I have Organic Valley here. I have our Sierra Nevada, Nancy's, and a Rumiano. And so based on what I've kind of learned from the cookies and the cupcakes that I've tested, I kind of have an idea of which butter might be best for pie dough. So I'm gonna predict what I think I'm gonna like the best. So I really think that the Rumiano, the Nancy's, and the Sierra Nevada are going to shine the most because they have a higher butterfat percentage than the Organic Valley. I kind of think the Nancy's might be the most flavorful because that's what I found in the past with that cultured butter. It's providing like a really good tang. So I'm really curious to see how it does with apple pie. And the Rumiano butter is a European style butter, which is our highest butterfat. So this could actually be my favorite too. I don't know. We're gonna bake these up and see what I think. So after rolling out all four of those, the ones that I thought rolled out the best was the Sierra Nevada and the Rumiano. And these ones have a little bit higher butterfat percentage. Now it's time to bake these and then we're gonna see which one tastes the best. So now we have our 4 mini apple pies and we're going to try these to see which one tastes the best. So I'm gonna try Organic Valley first. So the Organic Valley butter is delicious, as we already know. It's simply very mild. It lets the flavor of the apple pie really shine through. Now I'm gonna try the Sierra Nevada butter. Okay, so my predictions were right here. This one just tastes just more gourmet than the Organic Valley. It's definitely like very buttery, just very rich. It tastes just like a high quality pie that is just so delicious, and I want to eat more of it. And this one was more flaky than the Organic Valley butter. It's probably because it has a higher butterfat percentage. So next we're trying the Nancy's. And now this butter has been known to have the really flavorful, little bit of sour, a little bit of tang. So I'm really excited to try this with the apple pie. I'm picking up the tang a little bit. It's not as noticeable as I thought it would be, like it was in the buttercream frosting, but it is still delicious and it gives it just like a little bit more depth of flavor. But my favorite is still the Sierra Nevada. I think that one, the flakiness, so whatever that butter is going on in there is just making it so flaky and so delicious and just like very buttery. Now last we're gonna try the Rumiano butter. And now this one has the highest butterfat content. So let's see how it tastes with this pie crust. And now this one is definitely more flaky than the Nancy's and the Organic Valley. I think it's about the same as the Sierra Nevada, but I feel like the flavor of the Sierra Nevada one is so much better. And it's just like, I can't explain it, but it's like a tender butteriness that just kind of like melts in your mouth when you eat that pie, and it's so delicious. I'm gonna have to try these two side by side now and see. The Rumiano first and then the Sierra Nevada to see which one is my absolute favorite. The crust is my favorite part of pie, so this is definitely a really fun job today. So yep, the Sierra Nevada is definitely my favorite. It's light, it's buttery, it's rich, all at the same time. It really creates a tender and flaky pie crust. It's gonna go well with any kind of butter pie crust you guys are making. Okay, after even trying more pie and also having my husband weigh in, as you can see, the Sierra Nevada is all gone because that was both our favorites. And he had the best word for it. Delicate was what he was saying. It's like ultra rich and buttery, but delicate at the same time. It's so delicious. And then Rumiano is still our second choice, but after a little bit more eating, the Organic Valley one is actually much better than the Nancy's one. So that is the final count. You don't get pie, you silly little thing. And so caramel was something I wasn't really going to test during this because it's not really a baked good. But after having all these different butters in my fridge, I was making my famous caramel sauce that I made at my bake shop for over a decade. And I just ran to the fridge and grabbed butter. I grabbed Sierra Nevada butter, not even thinking about it. Immediately, my caramel burned as soon as I put the butter in. And I was like, that's so weird. I can't remember the last time I burned a batch of caramel. And so what did I do? I just grabbed another pot, made another batch of caramel. Grabbed the same butter like a dummy, and the same exact thing happened. So when the light bulb finally went off and I was like, wait a minute, I don't usually use that butter for caramel, I of course grabbed another pot. Good thing I have a lot of pots. And so then I grabbed the Organic Valley butter from the fridge intentionally. The Organic Valley butter was what we used in my bake shop, and so it's what I've always made caramel sauce with. When I used the Organic Valley butter, my caramel was perfect just like it always is. And so while at first I thought I burned the sugar, I actually didn't burn the sugar either times. It was the butter that was causing the caramel to burn. This is because higher fat butters such as European style butter will have more milk solids compared to a sweet cream butter. Sweet cream butter has a little bit more water, and that is actually a good thing when making caramel sauce. That little extra amount of moisture is actually going to help give you a little bit wider margin of error whenever making caramel. While in the European style butters, you're gonna have a little bit extra butter fat, and those milk solids will just burn immediately when they're at really high temperatures. So always use a sweet cream butter with a little bit lower butter fat whenever making caramel. And now I can only speak to my true caramel recipe because it's the only kind of caramel I make where you dry burn the sugar and then you immediately add in the butter and then the cream. But I know there's lots of other caramel recipes which I don't really think are true caramel, where you just throw all your ingredients into a pot and stir it up. That kind of might not make as big of a difference. But for me, I'm using sweet cream butter every single time whenever making caramel sauce. That's going to ensure that I get smooth, creamy, and not burnt caramel sauce every time with little effort. And tastes delicious. So we've tested butter for cookies, for cakes, for frosting, for pies, and even for caramel sauce. So now I just wanted to test how all of these butters taste just on a piece of toast. Because if you just want to buy one kind of butter for your kitchen, depending on what you're baking, you should be able to enjoy it on a piece of toast. So first we have the Organic Valley butter. Next we have the Nancy's, Sierra Nevada, and the Rumiano. So first we have Organic Valley. It's delicious, it's buttery, it tastes just like a piece of toast I would have at my grandma's house. The butter flavor is pretty mild, it just tastes really good. So next we have the Nancy's. And wow, the Nancy's is so delicious. It has just like that little extra tang that is so good on just a plain piece of toast. So next we have the Sierra Nevada. Okay, so the Sierra Nevada is just delicious. It tastes just like a little bit more gourmet than the Organic Valley, with just like a richer butter flavor, but it's still super light and pretty mild. This would go good with any kind of bread, toast, anything, it would be delicious. And last, we're gonna taste the Rumiano. Okay, so the Rumiano has the highest butter fat. This is a European style butter and it's grass-fed, and it really tastes that way on toast. It's very rich and it's like a little bit heavier than all the other three. It's actually not my favorite. So if I were to rate these for a plain piece of buttered toast, I would probably put Sierra Nevada and Nancy's first, depending if you want like a mild butter or if you want a super tangy butter. I don't think that the Nancy's would be very good if you were to eat this with like a sweet toast, like a cinnamon raisin or something. So that would be something to consider when you're choosing one of those. And then Organic Valley would be next. It's just delicious. It's a perfect butter for everyday use. It's delicious on both sweet and savory. I know because I've eaten it so many times. And then the Rumiano would be last. I would be saving this butter for chocolate chip cookies. And finally, our butter testing has come to an end. And I really thought that one of these butters was going to shine above all the others, and I was going to be like, this is the best butter, this is the second best butter, this is the third best butter. But that really didn't happen. And it goes to show you that not one specific butter is going to be best for everything for baking. While you can find many articles out there deeming certain kind of butter the best kind of butter, most all of those articles did not test everything that I tested today. And so what this has taught me is I am not going to choose just one kind of butter for my kitchen anymore, because I can get better bakes by going with a different butter that is going to be better suited for a certain thing. I'm going to use a high-fat European style butter when I want soft and chewy cookies that have the best texture. And that would be the Rumiano. And then if I want the best buttery, sandy shortbreads, I am definitely choosing the Nancy's. For pie crust and buttercream frosting, Sierra Nevada is my top pick. For cakes and for caramel sauce, I'm definitely going with Organic Valley. And for butter toast, well, I'm eating them all, except maybe the Rumiano. That one is just not my favorite on toast. So I hope this helped you learn a little bit more about butter, and they are not all the same. So I hope you will pick the best butter for your kitchen. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. And if you want more baking tests just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen. And why don't you guys drop a comment? What should I test next?